Hey all my future buyers and sellers out there, I am here to teach you more than you knew before about the real estate process. And I want you to know that buyer's remorse comes in many forms. And unfortunately, a lot of first-time home buyers out there have experienced this. But fortunately enough for you, I have compacted all their lessons and stories into this video. So let's learn from those that went before us. Hey, it's Ella with Ella Estate Realty and welcome back to my channel. Now, before I jump into today's hot topic, which is first-time home buyers' biggest mistakes, I want to gently remind you to leave me some love with some likes and also hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. As for today's topic, I am talking to all you first-time home buyers. I'm sure you're super excited and enthusiastic and probably bursting at the seams with questions, but sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. So I've taken the time to collect all the most common mistakes that I've seen first-time home buyers make so you can avoid them. So let's get into it. Now, before I get started, I just want to let you know that I tried to list these in chronological order back to back. So one, you're aware as the cycle progresses, but also two, you get to know and realize just how much happens before you even start shopping for a house. So starting with number one, it's save ASAP as much as possible and as consistently as possible. Now, there is a myth associated with saving for a down payment, 20% down, that's what you have to have. And this is highly recommended. Definitely, if you can make this happen, then do it, because when you go less than 20% down, you get hit with some mortgage insurance and extra fees, and it can be harder to get financing. That being said, I want you guys to balance the idea of being perfectly prepared and waiting for forever to get into a house until you have this massive amount of money, compared to taking advantage of maybe the 0% down programs, the 3.5% down programs that could get you into a house faster so you can start building equity and taking advantage of owning a home. So just realizing, how much it might be appealing to go with less percent down up front, but how much it'll cost you, or it might be appealing to prepare for forever until it's perfect, and that probably won't happen. That situation won't arise. So just knowing that saving as much as possible will be to your advantage. Number two mistake is not knowing your credit score or things that might be wrong with it. Credit scores are this mysterious beast, and there's a lot of things that go into it that build it up, but one of the things that everybody knows is it's pretty easy to lower your credit score, and it's kind of hard and time consuming to raise it. So you want to start this process as soon as possible, just like I said with the previous in saving. As soon as you get the idea that you want to buy a house, know that credit score plays a huge role in them loaning you money, so you want it to be as high as possible. So take advantage of the time that you have in raising it and realizing just what needs to be changed or affected, because we all make mistakes, things happen, but just correcting those things before you move forward with the home process can really save you thousands in your home loan and securing better interest rates. So please, please, please take a look at your credit score. Number three, how perfect is that? It is shopping around and getting at least 3 quotes for every vendor that you use. Particularly, I'm talking about your trusted real estate agent and your lender, but this also extends to home inspectors, to contractors that you're trusting to do renovations for a house, repairmen, all of those. Make sure that you shop around and talk to your family and friends about recommendations, do your due diligence and research, because this can really save you money and headaches long term by using the correct person. It's an emotional roller coaster, and you want to make sure that not only their personality matches with yours, but also that you can trust them and they have your best interest in mind, and they're not just trying to make a deal. Because sometimes, sad to say, some home buyers get really excited, but it might not be the best time for them, and they need somebody that has their best interest in mind to let them know this information. So like I said, build your team wisely and do your research and make sure that everybody is the right fit to be on your team. Number 4 is not talking to a lender before you start your house search. Oh guys, I know they've made it way too easy on the internet. You know, you just type in how much you make in the mortgage calculator and it'll spit out a number for you, or you just get addicted to the Redfin, Zillow, Realtor.com notifications and all of a sudden you think you have a criteria set in stone. But until you talk to a professional and they collect all the information they need to from you to properly calculate how much you can afford, please don't set the expectations wrong from the beginning. You know, it's almost like getting a credit card and not knowing the end limit and going on a shopping spree and then going to check out and getting denied, and you have to put all the stuff back. I want you to avoid that embarrassment and pretty much heartbreak by just talking to somebody as soon as possible, as soon as you start getting interested in buying a house. Number 5 is not knowing or taking advantage of first-time homebuyer programs. Now, it's not like a college scholarship where you're applying for different programs and hoping that you get the financing. There's only 4 primary loan types, and that would be FHA, VA, USDA, and conventional. A lot of letters. But overall, there are different positives and negatives for each, different credit thresholds, different debt to income ratios. So definitely have that open conversation with your lender and figure out which one could possibly work for you. So just taking advantage of what's out there to help you get into your house, but definitely calculate the numbers and know what you're getting yourself into as well. Number 6 is not getting a pre-approval letter before you start shopping. Well, I will say that there's a couple levels of working with a lender and how to know how much you're gonna get. So the first one, you open conversation, you throw some rough numbers at them and they give you a pre-qualification. This is practically just a piece of paper that gives you a guesstimation of how much they think they might be able to lend you, but it doesn't really have any hard backing behind it. The next level that we want you to go for, you know, that is number 6, is having a pre-approval letter. That means that they've run the numbers, collected data from you, and they can give you an idea more exact of how much your maximums are and how much you would be comfortable with your mortgage payment, things of that sort. But there are 2 more levels, fully underwritten and then all cash buyer is, of course, everybody wants to be and the most respected, but pre-qualification is probably the one that you want to aim for, especially if you're out shopping, just to make sure, again, you're fully aware and your expectations are set of how much you can pay for a house. 7, lucky number 7, because you are getting a gift from a family member, partner, stranger, whoever wants to give you a lump sum for your house, but you're not taking the proper precautions to make sure that this money can work for this home loan. That being said, you know, say you get a chunk of change from your parents to buy your very first home and they're helping you out, but there's no paper trail of where this cash is coming from, or they're giving you too much and there's a cap on how much they can give you. If you have or are anticipating a gift of money for purchasing your house, you want to run this by your lender, tell them where it's coming from and be able to track everything of who it's coming from and all that good stuff to make sure that it's approved. And if you wait till the last second, which I have seen, as they're closing the deal and they can't get their financing correct because they said from the beginning they would get a gift and then, I don't know, they had a family falling out, then it's really gonna hurt you in the long run and you could actually forfeit your earnest money, which could be 1% of your purchase price. So just trying to keep your money safe and open communication about this is the key. Number 8. Comes in a lot of forms, but I'll just simplify it and say don't max out your savings on the down payment. Not only should you not overextend yourself and buy more house than you can afford and go beyond your means, but also the down payment is only one part of buying a house. Not only is that at the beginning, but you'll incur closing costs at the end of it, and then even after you move in, you'll probably incur some expenses as well. So property taxes, home inspection, appraisal, moving costs, costs, moving truck materials, or even if an appliance stops working within the first 6 months of buying a house. These are all things that might come up and will come up and will have to be out of pocket up front. So we want to make sure that you have the money set aside, not only for the down payment, however much you have saved for that, but also for the closing costs and also for home ownership afterwards, because usually it works. And the way it works is that it'll be more expensive than you anticipated. So don't spend all your money in one place. Number 9 is logic over emotions. I can't tell you how many people are unrealistic or stuck on a dream house or just making emotional choices when they should think logically long term. So I don't want you to be those buyers. I want you to completely avoid this by, this is my secret sauce, listing out all your criteria that you want and need, and constantly reminding yourself that you need to have certain aspects in a house for it to be made possible. And also sharing this with your real estate agent so they remind you of this too. They can be a very neutral force in your search that reminds you that you don't want to live on a main road even though the interior of the house is perfect, because when you go to resell it, it'll fall flat. Or that it's not even in the school district that you specified was your number 1 search criteria until you stumbled upon a garden in the backyard that you couldn't do without. So just making sure that you're making logical choices. And a little add-on to that is hunting for a unicorn. We've all done it. We've ripped out houses out of a magazine, or we've had them on Pinterest for years, and your heart is set on this, but sometimes when it comes down to your criteria, the neighborhood, what you're trying to achieve, it doesn't always equal that perfect one house, and you might have to, you will, make compromises along the way. So being aware, again, of the emotional side versus the logical side, and making the right choice for you and your family and your financial portfolio. Number 10 is those investor first-time home buyers that are okay with some renovations, a little repair here, a little knockout wall there, and all of a sudden they have calculated the renovations and this is why they're buying the home. And it starts going south. They move in, and along with the headache, the time consumption, choosing the wrong contractor, the numbers just aren't adding up and it's costing way more than they anticipated, and then they start to resent the house. They start to resent the process, and soon to be, they never want to buy a house again. And I don't want this to happen to you, so I want you to make sure that when you're doing your research for your vendor, that they are totally dependable and will, by the end of the contract, follow exactly the numbers that they recommended for you, or that you don't go down this investor road, this HGTV inspired project until you have some experience under your belt. So just making sure that you're aware of those costs and that they calculate properly will really save you some resentment from a home buying process. Number 11, not negotiating after you've fallen in love with the house. Trust me, I'm a real estate agent. I don't want to see this happen, but I try to set expectations for my home buyers in a seller's market, which currently we're right now in, that they'll probably bid on 3 houses before they get that competitive nature within them to get the house. Before that, I don't want you just rolling over and accepting the seller's terms without putting up a little fight, making sure that you're getting what you want out of the house too, not getting buyer's remorse. You know, this video. But with that, I want to make sure that you're picking an agent that specializes in negotiation, that encourages you to do so, and lets you know that it's not always about the price. Sometimes you can negotiate different repairs or different actions that need to be taken by the seller that can make sure everyone leaves happy from the deal. So at the end of the day, this could save you tens of thousands of dollars. Take advantage of this and know that the worst they can say is no, and you're back to square one. Number 12, we've made it to the end. Thanks for staying around, and hopefully one of these caught you off guard, but this one is kind of counterintuitive, I would say, for people that are in the finance realm, but it's not racking up credit within the time that you're closing. And what do I mean by this? Going out and buying all new furniture for your house because you're so excited and it's taking 2 months to close. Or you're keeping up with the Joneses. You have a brand new house. Now you need 2 matching cars, husband and wife, him and hers. Trust me, I've seen it happen. I've heard it happen, and it's so unfortunate when they come to closing and their debt to income ratio is gone through the roof and their credit score has sunk in like the Titanic and they no longer qualify for the house. I don't want to see this happen to you guys. So just make sure that your wallet is tightly shut and your credit is on layaway until after you get the keys and you close, and then after that you can do whatever you want. 1 through 12, we made it through the whole list. Hopefully one of these caught you off guard. Definitely let me know in the comments down below if it did. Now, if this information was valuable, leave me some love and some likes, or if you have further questions about buying your first house, you can always reach me in real time at my website, EllaEstateRealty.com. Now, I hope your first time home buying process is memorable for all the right reasons. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're having a dreamy day.